So I would use a phone interview when I have a long shortlist that for whatever reason I can't very easily ascertain from the resume or whatever document I use to assess them in the first place. I couldn't distinguish between a potential 10 or 15 people. So I needed to cut that down. I need to do that in a much quicker and more coordinated fashion, so I may use a phone interview. Another time when I may use a phone interview is when logistically trying to bring all of the parties that are required to assess the candidate together is not logistically possible, or at the time it's going to take in terms of aligning people's diaries and stuff is going to take way too long. So I would probably opt for a phone interview in that circumstance. So I would do an in-person interview when you have quite a refined shortlist and you're looking to really assess the person's style and how they go about answering questions, how they present themselves in front of a panel or a group of stakeholders, depending on the nature of the business. But that's when I would use an in-person interview over a phone interview. Yeah, so how many people should be in an interview process or on an interview panel? I think the right answer to that question depends on the size of the business. So I think that if you're hiring a very small, non-complex role that's got low ambiguity, it's very structured, very well defined, and you're operating in a very small business, I think having 1 or 2 people there is more than enough. And I think that at the very least, businesses should aim to try and have at least 2 people on any interview panel, because I think everybody comes with their own internal biases. And I think having someone on that interview panel that is completely different to you in their thought or background or any of those sort of markers of diversity is really powerful in terms of getting the best outcome for the organisation that you're hiring for. I would do a panel interview if I was if I was hiring for a role that had a lot of complexity or a lot of ambiguity, or there was a need to hire someone that had really good stakeholder management, or they needed to communicate with diverse groups of people. So they really needed to be able to influence across a broad range of stakeholders. I would opt for an interview panel. It's to see how they respond to different style of questioning, different approaches. So some people may have a very direct questioning style within that interview. Some people may have a very indirect questioning style. And the candidate's ability to be able to navigate through those different styles and apply their own style to the responses, I think, is what the hirers are actually looking for.